Oy. How you doing, Java Junkie? It's the day after St. Paddy's, and I'm sure that you got a hangover. But you know what? I got the cure. Right here, it's the hair of the Irish dog. So if you're ready, let's get to it. Let's make some coffee. To make this coffee, you need a few ingredients. First, of course, you need your coffee of your choosing. Then you're gonna need some canned corned beef. You know, a nice head of cabbage. And perhaps, most importantly, you're going to need yourself a nice Irish beer, a Guinness. There's probably enough preservatives in this to warrant not having to cook it, but it's always nice to get that nice roasted flavor. There's a little tab here that somehow is supposed to open this thing. Can't find the key? Just use your pliers. Pliers are an important kitchen utensil. If it didn't come with a key, once you make the hole big enough that you can get a fork in there, you can kind of just wiggle it around. Yeah, I'd like to see one of those fancy coffee baristas do this. I am the beef! You only need about half of the can of the corned beef inside of the pan. Fair warning, cans can be dangerous. I bleed for my craft. You just want to get the corned beef to be a little bit brown. You're going to finish cooking it inside of the oven. You gotta roast it if you're making coffee. With the stove set to 350, you're gonna put it in for about 15 minutes. While the meat's cooking, time to chop up some cabbage. You're not gonna need a whole lot, so maybe for this whole pot you need 1/8. Then with this, you're just going to dice it fairly fine. Now, although you want some of that cabbage flavor, you don't want it to gum up the works. So you're going to wind up putting this directly into the coffee pot. If looking at this doesn't make you start feeling sober already, I don't know what's going to help you. Here's where the hair of the dog part comes in. Now, some people might use a fresh beer. I like to leave mine sitting in the refrigerator for over a year. I don't know how old this thing is, but yeah, so we're doing stale Guinness. This is the whole hair of the dog part right here. Just use the whole bottle. Well, if you're really that thirsty, you add more water to it. You're gonna dilute some of the beer. So at this point, I'm doing about half and half. The part that makes this a coffee. Since the nature of this is to wake you up, I say 2 handfuls. Make it strong. That's 1. And that is 2. Smells a lot like hot dogs again. Greasy meat, that's what you want. Want lots of meat and lots of grease. If it doesn't look like dog food, I don't know if you did it right. For those of you who don't know what a canned corned beef hash tastes like, it's kind of like you went into a breakfast diner after they made a whole bunch of hash browns and ham and eggs, and you just like took the scrapings from their pan and you just eat it. That's kind of what this tastes like. So yeah, if you like salty meat, you'll like this. Just pour all of that right in the filter. That poured a lot faster than I thought it would. I am so good at what I do. Hi-ya! As it's brewing, you're getting that beer smell into the room. Smells a bit like caramel because it's a stout. It's a very thick beer. So even once it's done brewing, you just turn it off and you're gonna let it sit for a minute because you want that cabbage to actually soak in a little. You're cooking the cabbage and you're also getting that cabbage flavor. Because of all the meat in top, it might have some collected liquid up there, so just jostle it. You know, I bleed for you guys. The least you can do is like the video. Once you let it sit for long enough, once you think that the cabbage has softened inside of there, then you have some hair of the Irish dog. This will cure anything, primarily a hangover. It looks a little bit like motor oil, but that's how you lubricate all of the headache away. Order up, all you hungover people! Oh, my head! This had better work. So it has a bit of a fruity smell that's a bit reminiscent of Red Bull coffee, for those few of you who remember that. And that's coming from the Guinness. I'm not sure if it showed up on camera, but on top of it, there is a bit of an oily film. That's good for your hangovers. You know, you're always craving greasy food. Why not a greasy coffee? You know, this has cabbage in it and meat, so it's like a soup. This is healthy, I think. To my health. The brewing process does bring out a lot of the fruitiness inside of the Guinness, which I didn't even realize it had. But this almost has a wine-like taste to it. You would not think that I diluted the Guinness with this, but really the Guinness and the coffee, they pair well together. You're not sure if you're drinking a coffee or if you're drinking a Guinness, but it really neither one clashes. They kind of blend very well. One thing I could do without is the cabbage pieces that keep coming up inside of the coffee. That keeps getting in my mouth. It does have a bitter medicinal taste, so I can't give it a full rave review. I'm not sure that you want to drink this instead of your regular cup of coffee. Now, if you have a hankering for a Guinness and you need it first thing in the morning, well, I guess that's one way you can do it without too many people looking at you strange. Although they might look at you strange when you start putting meat into your coffee pot. You know, so I'm going to give this one... It's not bad. It's a 5 out of 10.
Bada bing, bada boom.
It does get a little bit syrupy in the mouth. Probably the cooking down of the Guinnesses did that. But you really don't notice much effect from the cabbage or the corned beef, and that's probably just because they're not overwhelming flavors, unlike the Guinness and the coffee. For those of you who are nursing a hangover, this might help a little bit. Maybe it won't, but it's not the worst thing in the world you can make. In any case, if you're nursing a hangover, I'm here for you. And for all my Java junkies, remember, stay up! Kinda tastes like a day after beer burp. Hey, if you enjoyed this so far, why not consider throwing a order down into the comments and then subscribing so you can see when and if I ever make that. If you're feeling a little bit nauseous today, put something down. Protect yourself. Oh no, me Lucky Charms! Oh, we go! All the meat is in the bottom. Gotta get in there. Oh, it's hot. I'm gonna eat this. I regret eating that. Just tasted a little bit like ground beef. Nothing too interesting. But the coffee grounds on the outside were not very flavorful. Looks like an alien of some kind to me.
Happy St. Patrick's Day!